Yeah, we're good.
You see it on there?
Yeah. Say something.
Test, test, test.
Yeah, we're good. Yep.
All right. What about YouTube and Instagram? Hey, if you're joining in, we're just testing out the live stream and the technology. Bear with us. We're going to actually be going live at 12:30, so feel free to sit tight. We may just leave this open so that we're not booting people out, but just sit tight, and we'll be going live officially in about 15 minutes. So appreciate you guys joining early.
Yeah, I don't see anything on Instagram yet.
I don't either. Let's see.
Well, if all we can get is the Facebook, that's fine too.
Yeah, for sure. We can figure out the rest later. I just want to make sure everyone can see it. We should be good. It's not loving all these windows open. It's definitely buffering like crazy on my side. That's it. If you're good, I'm good.
1 second.
Thanks, David. I see your message. I appreciate that. I was just about to ask. Welcome, welcome, everybody. If you guys are tuning in, we're going to get started shortly. This is our first live stream, and we're trying to use a new multi-stream technology. And so, obviously, that's always fun to figure out.
All right, I'm back.
All right, cool. So I see David, Andy, Maher's on. If you guys are on, can you just let us know in the chat if you can hear us and if you can see the EasyFXSignals website? You should be able to type it right into the chat. Let us know if you can hear us and see us, and let us know where you guys are tuning in from.
Yep, looks like it's good.
Okay, cool. I'm checking on mobile too. Nice. Okay, great. I'm checking on mobile too. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for letting us know. Danny, can you drop a message in Telegram and let everybody know we're going live in 10 minutes? Thank you, sir. Welcome, Trevor.
Bye-bye.
See Christian, David, Trevor, Manor.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with Instagram, man. We might just have to.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. We'll just we'll book it with Facebook today. So no problem there. Trying to see. Somebody asked if we were recording this. It should stay native on the Facebook page, so you'll always be able to kind of go back and watch. So once we finish in here, it'll just post to the page, and if not, we'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it should be automatic.
But it should be automatic. Dude, that gold was crazy. Welcome. I see a few new people joined us. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to join. We'll go live here. Well, we are live, but we're going to actually start broadcasting and talking through everything in a few minutes. Let us know where you guys are coming, tuning in from, what your names are. UK in the house. What's up, Warren? I was just talking to you. A lot of people from UK today.
That's where this company was born.
That's
Sitting in a coffee shop in London.
more minutes, guys. We're gonna let people trickle in. This is our first one, so you know we appreciate your patience. We're just gonna keep getting better and better. What's up, Bogdan? I was just told that we are successfully broadcasting on YouTube too. So we YouTube and Facebook rolling today, and we'll figure out Instagram going forward.
Sounds good. Appreciate that, Warren.
What's up, Arv? Norway in the house. Jack's excited.
I say we just announce it in the Telegram and just start.
Let's do it.
Start it.
Let's do it.
Got a decent amount of people on here now, so.
And I'll say this too, guys. We're gonna let go through the charts and talk through everything, and at the end we'll open it up for questions, and I'll bring the questions forward on the screen so you guys can kind of see those, and we'll bang through as many as we can. We're gonna try and keep these under an hour to respect everyone's time, but of course, we'll just feel it out every single week, and we plan on doing these every single week. So whenever you're ready, Dan.
Yep. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm just. Video good?
Video's great.
Sorry to pop this on here. All right, so let's get into it. Let me make sure we're still good on this end here. All right, everybody. Welcome to our first stream. Bear with us. We have a couple things in the works right now. We have some new software that we're trying out. We have some stuff being created. We got a lot of things that are trial and error right now, and a lot of it's not ready. We just wanted to get live today, so it's a work in progress. So bear with us. Of course, we appreciate everybody's time coming on these calls with us. We're going to start doing these every single week. We got a lot of different things that we're going to start doing. Mainly when we started this, it really wasn't just about signals. There's so many signal services out there, and most of them are just bullshit. Most of them just aren't people who say what they are, and they're just not doing anything on substantial accounts. I personally wouldn't want to follow some of these signals who's trading on a $5,000 or $1,000 account. But we wanted to make it more of a community. I'm sure a lot of you guys recognize me. I was a part of a bigger team. I was one of the master traders and head educator for a team with thousands of people. And I'm sure a lot of you know that I've recently, I'm starting to make my soft exit on that. The big reason for that is I wanted to start doing, me and the guys who are part of this, we wanted to start doing our own thing. And there was just a lot of things that were out of our control when you're dealing with a big company. There's a lot of people who would say they're things that they're not. And ultimately just the control thing. And we wanted to just run things the way that we want to do it with a team that we built, and that's ultimately how this was formed. So we have a lot of things that we're going to be doing. We first wanted to just start getting the signals, and now we still have a lot of things that we're working on. everybody's on the same page now. So now one of the biggest requests has been education. And a lot of you guys know that I've been an educator for a number of years now. So we just needed to wait for the right time, and the time is now. So we're going to start with this. We're going to start doing these weekly streams. From there, we're going to start a VIP chat, which is just for members, and it's going to be direct access to myself and all of the traders on our team, right? So you'll get live updates. You'll get, if you have a question about a trade, we'll share more markups or things that we're looking at, kind of like a play-by-play thing, which would be really cool. That's something that was a big thing in my trading, having access to something like that with traders who are actually profitable traders. Another thing that we're going to be looking to do is a video detailed course. That's something that we're going to do, and that's going to be included, with this. We're not sure. We have a lot of things to figure out. We're not sure how we're going to do everything yet, but these are just some of the things that we have coming in the future. Another thing that we're going to do that we just started talking about is live trading on major events. So, for example, NFP, right? We had NFP last Friday, live trading on NFP, where we get on a call like this in our private VIP group, and you can watch us on the charts on MT4, actually taking trades in real time, and you can basically just sit in with me and people who I'm trading with, and just kind of look at what we're doing, listen to what we're saying, and how we're communicating about the trades. So that could be extremely valuable as well. So if that sounds good to you guys, let us know. Drop it in the chat. If that all sounds good to you. And of course, we welcome suggestions. If you guys have anything, any ideas or anything that you would like to see, or anything along those lines, also let us know in the chat as well. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. So today, I recognize a lot of you guys on this, and a lot of you guys, like I said, I know you know who I am, and I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this strategy. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about today, and it's just because we do have a lot of people who are taking our signals and they're just not familiar with the way that we trade, and they're not familiar with some of the more basic things. So, today I wanted to cover something which is going to help you guys get the most value from the trade signals that we send out. Our whole thing with the way that we trade, which is a big difference from a lot of these other signal services, we're using smart money concepts, institutional style trading. And with that style of trading, we can get tighter stop losses. We can get better risk to reward. Whereas if you're looking at a lot of the retail strategies out there, which is, I'm sure most of you know, trend lines, support, resistance, things of that nature, right? You're getting bigger stop losses. And when you have a bigger stop loss, and I'll kind of demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about on the chart. Right, so let's just say we have this level here. I'll take this off here. A lot of traders were able to instantly look at this like a floor, like a support level, right? And they'll look to buy somewhere in this zone here, right? You might even hear people refer to these as supply and demand zones, anything along those lines there. But what happens is, for example, I actually, there's somebody that I know who also runs a signal service, and he sent out a gold trade today. And you guys are gonna, how about this? And I'm not trying to bash anybody else's services or the way that they trade, because if it works for you, by all means, trade like that. But let me just show you a big difference of a lot of other signal services and what we do, and how it can benefit you, especially with smaller accounts. And then I'm going to get into showing you exactly how you can maximize your profits on our trades. Minimal losses, and big reward, potential big reward there. So he sent out a gold trade today, right? A buy, no mind you, right there. So we have obviously a gold tank today. He sent out a buy at 1893.4. So let's just draw a line there. Right, 1893.40. right? So right around that area, he was saying to buy. Now this line here, I'm gonna enter in where he said to put the stop loss, and then I'll do the TP as well. All right, so for the stop loss, he said, let's see, 1847, 1847. So somewhere in this ballpark. So they're still in this trade, right? Now the TP he had, I'll do the TP1 and TP3 just to get the range. So the TP1 was 1965, 1965. Okay, so let's just say that we'll use those parameters right there. All right, now I'm gonna grab the risk to reward tool. And this is something that you need to get familiar with if you're not already. All right, so there's the entry. Here's the stop loss. And here's his TP. Okay. Now the problem here is you have a stop loss that's 460 pips and a TP that is 700. Let me see, almost 714 pip TP. Right now, that might be great if he goes out and he sends, you know, a post or, you know, some type of marketing that says, check out this gold trade. We just smashed 714 pips. Okay. But with that stop loss being as big as it is, and if somebody's risking 2%, and mind you too, he called the stop loss about here first, and then he moved it down even further, right? You're only getting, if you risk 1% on this trade and your TP hits and you, for whatever reason, get priced and you can hold it for 700 plus pips, you're only increasing your account by 1.5%. Now, if you got 2% on this trade, right, that will double, right? You'll increase your account if you can hold it. And I don't know how many trades you personally hold for 700 something pips, because that can take some time. You would increase your account by 3%. So the risk to reward isn't there. I would never take a trade that with a stop loss that big. It's just crazy to me. The risk to reward isn't there. The problem with this, right? And you'll see a lot of trades too, with a lot of other, just in general, how, you know, support lines, trend lines, and all that type of stuff. The big thing is you're going to get usually 2 to 1, 1 to 1, right? There's some scalping strategies that are opposite. You're risking 50 pips to make 10 pips, right? Those numbers just don't add up. So it might not be this big all the time with those type of strategies, but you're still like, I mean, you can have 50 pip stop loss, right? Let's do a 50 pip, or I'll just do 100 because it's too small there. And you have price go 200 pips, right? Here's 200 pips right around here. You're getting 2 to 1. That's the ballpark of what a lot of these strategies and like this guy's signal service, what he sends out. Now, the big thing, like I was mentioning with this type of stuff where you're getting 1 to 1, where you're getting 2 to 1, where you're getting 3 to 1, you're relying on a win rate. Meaning you have to win more trades than you lose in order for you to be profitable. And I can tell you right now, and I can tell you this from personal experience, I am very close friends with a lot of big traders, and a lot of you know that. I have 6-figure traders who I work with, 7-figure traders, and I have an 8-figure trader who I talk to multiple times a week. None of them rely on winning more trades than they lose. It's just something, when you're looking at a market as manipulated as it is, controlled by the banks, you know, it's extremely hard. It's like trying to go to a casino and trying to, you know, win every poker hand or blackjack, right? It's just something that's very hard. And that's why how many pips you get on a trade is completely irrelevant. How many wins or losses. I had somebody show me something yesterday. They ended the day down 17 pips, but made 10% on their account. A lot of people won't understand that. It's hard for them to comprehend that. So the main thing that you need to focus on and how you're going to get the best value and maximize your profits, especially from the signals that we personally send, is focusing on the risk to reward. And a lot of our trades are, I personally don't even take a trade unless it's 5 to 1. And I like to get 5 to 1s, 10 to 1s in that ballpark for 100 pips or less. So I don't have to rely on price traveling great distances in order to achieve a significant gain, right? Just like this, if just to show you in comparison, let's just say his stop loss was the initial spot somewhere down there, right? 237 pip stop loss, 700 something pip target. And let's say I had an entry that I sent out to the squad today, right? And I had the same entry, but I had a stop loss, you know, let's say like 20, I'll do like 30 pips for an example. Now it might look all great because it's a shiny object saying, you know, look, if we just smashed a 700 pip trade, but we would make more money here on this one here with a fraction of the amount of pips. So this is 211 pips. We would make more money here. In fact, we would make a lot more money. Here, risking 1%, you're increasing your account by 3%. If you have 2% on this trade here, you're increasing your account by 6%. In this example here, if you have 2% on this trade with this risk to reward 7-1, you're increasing your account by 14% on a third of the pips. So it really doesn't matter how much you're winning or losing. Just for some perspective and just to give you an actual statistic, if you average 5-1 on your trades, you only need to win 17% of your trades to break even. 17% of your trades to break even. So that's why we wanted to start educating people, because we saw somebody new today. They came in and they said, oh, you know, they sent out 2 signals and we didn't have any active signals today because of what was released with the COVID. But, you know, they're concerned about wins and losses. Like 2 losses to a professional trader is nothing because they're not thinking in wins and losses. They're thinking in sample sizes. I'm thinking in 25 trade chunks, because the outcome of these trades, no matter how perfect the setup is, it's completely random. You want to be completely emotional detached from these trade setups. You can't trade with emotion, and you can't trade with the different fears, the fear of losing, the fear of missing out. And you can't get all disgruntled when you have back-to-back losses, because let me show you another example here with what we're talking about. Let's say we take this example here and I send out 3 trades at 7-1, right? 1, 2, 3. And we're risking 2% because that's any type of trade that we send out, unless otherwise we risk 2%. So let's say we lose this one. We lose this trade, the second trade. And now here we're minus 2%. We lost that first trade here. We lost that second trade, right? Another 2%, which now makes it minus 4%. But now let's say we won this third trade, right? And this has 7-1 risk to reward, risking 2%. So if we win this trade here and we smash this TP, we would increase our account by 14% with a net profit, because we're taking away that -4 for those 2 other trades. We have a net profit of 10%, winning 33% of these trades, winning 1 trade out of 3. And this is what you need to understand. And this is why we are consistently profitable. This is why, like, we since the birth of this company, we haven't had a losing month. Some months might be as great as we anticipated, but we're profitable. We're profitable every single month. I haven't had a losing month in the last 17 months. And that's the God's honest truth. And it's because of the risk to reward here, because I play the numbers, and ultimately that's what trading is. It's solely a numbers game. And once you realize that and you're focused on that, wins and losses are completely irrelevant, and they're completely random, like I said. And it just takes away a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the fears that come with trading, and it takes away the win rate. I don't have to rely on winning more trades than I lose, because I know the numbers with our type of risk to reward, the numbers will play themselves out. Does that make sense to everybody? So what I'll do is I'll show you some of the tools that I personally use when I'm looking at a trade. And let's say, you know, for a trade signal that we send out, what you should be doing in order to capitalize maximize your profits on every single trade so that you can play the numbers. Because if you just take one of our trade signals and you're just entering in any lot size that, you know, let's say you got like $1,000 account and you're just entering like a 0.01 or a 0.05 for just no reason because you think that's a good number, the numbers won't work out in your favor. So like we've had people message us and they say, oh, you're up 10% on the week, but I'm down. It's instantly we know why, because you didn't calculate your lot size properly. And that's one of the big things. So we want everybody to be on the same page with this. And again, I know it's, you know, it's a little bit elementary or basic for some, but you know, as you guys know, we're going to get into more advanced stuff. We're going to get into more trade stuff. We're going to show you guys exactly how we mark up these charts. We're going to show you the ins and outs of our strategy. There's a lot coming, but this is probably one of the most important things that we can plug you guys into right away. So what I'll do, I'll clear this up. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. We have people that are monitoring the chat. So if I miss anything that you guys are saying or asking, we'll come back around. Yeah, Chris. So Chris just mentioned one of them. Steenu is a great app, and that's actually one that I do have on my phone. For whatever reason, I'm out and about, and I plan on getting into a trade, which typically I don't, just because I manage multiple accounts. Steenu is the one that, and I'll type it up here so everybody can see it. This is, in my opinion, probably one of the best mobile apps for figuring this stuff out. And then I'll show you what I use for my MT4. So here's the name of that app that he was talking about. And that's, so when we send out these trades and we're saying, okay, here's the entry, here's the stop loss. The stop loss is 10 pips, right? You need to take that information, go to a position size calculator like Steenu, and enter that information in, and then it's going to give you the recommended lot size. And that's the recommended lot size that you need to execute the trade with or set the pending order. And that's how you're going to take advantage of the numbers and you know, have the numbers work in your favor. Because with it's when you're playing in a casino-like atmosphere like this, you need to do things like this. You need to stack as much in your favor as possible. And this is one of them. And this is the fastest way to grow an account, right? So using these tight stop losses that we use, especially for smaller accounts, that's going to enable you to get bigger lot sizes on your trades, get more leverage on those trades while still maintaining whatever that risk is that you're using across that universal risk, whether it's 1%, we use 2%. So it doesn't matter how big or small our stop loss is, it's going to be 2%. Doesn't matter if we lose a trade for 100 pips or if we lose a trade for 2 pips. If we lose that trade, it's going to be 2% no matter what, because we're determining the lot size based on our account balance. So the formula, just so anybody's wondering, you're taking your account balance and you're multiplying it by the risk. So if you have a $10,000 account, for example, and you're risking 2%, 2% of a 10K account is $200, right? So let's say you have a 20 pip stop loss. Your lot size would be a standard, a 1.0. That means you're getting $10. That's your pip value. Meaning if you hit that 20 pip stop loss, you're losing 200. You're losing that 2%. Everybody following along? Does that make sense to everybody? How many times are you guys coming on? So we're doing this right now once a week, the live streams. But again, we have a lot of things in the works that we're still planning and putting together. We're going to be doing more of these, but a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing is inside our private group, which most of you guys are in anyway. And we're going to do the live trading. We're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have a lot of stuff available because, again, it wasn't just an idea to do signal services. We wanted to make a community, right? And that's the biggest thing that we are focused on. All right, so I'm going to show you. And we're going to be fully transparent, and we're going to show you guys how to do this right on an MT4. So let's just take let's just take this example here. I'll just delete all these. Right, let's just go down to a lower time frame really quickly, and as if we were going to enter a trade right now, exactly what we're going to do. And I'm just going to pick a random order block. I'm not going to get into any logistics of it, but let's just say we're going to take this candle here, right? Let's just say we're looking to set a sell limit at this area here, right? And we're using the top of that order block for our stop loss. And we're targeting the low down here, right, where the liquidity is sitting. Right, I'll just use the very bottom. Just again, this is for example's sake, right? So you can see here, 50 pip stop loss, 268. Excuse me, 268. I was correct there. Pip target, and you can see our risk to reward is just over 5-to-1. So meaning if you risk 2% on this trade, you would increase your account by over 10%. So what I want to do now, let's say this is our entry here. Let's just do it like this, right? So let's say this was a signal that we're sending out. I'll type it here. I'll make this black so everybody can see this. Actually, red will probably be better. All right, so entry would be, and again, this isn't a real signal. I'm just doing this to show you how we would do it. All right, 2.6. Stop loss would be 1.88226, and that is a 50 pip stop loss. And then the TP is 1850.44, and that was 268 pips. Risk to reward 5.321 on your money. Okay. Now, what I would personally do, the way that I do it, is my MT4, and again, if I understand everybody has different social lives, work lives, all that stuff, and not everybody's sitting in front of a computer, so we'll go over both ways. And we actually have a video showing this stuff too, and we're gonna have more like a guide too for new members, and you know, you have access to all this stuff as well, like a whole library of different resources that will help you. So let's take these parameters. I'm going to bring up the MT4. Okay. Now, the tool that I personally like to use is one-click trade. And I'll type it here just so everybody has it. One-click trade. This is free. You can download it directly from your MT4. There's multiple tools similar to this. This is just one that I personally like. And what I personally use for every single trade that I place, unless I'm, you know, out and about and I have to use Stenu on my phone. All right, so here's gold. I'll maximize this. And if you want to download this, at the bottom here, you go to market. I probably don't want to do this because anytime market can slow down your, can lag this a little bit. But what you do is you go to marketplace in your MT4, and then you just type in search one-click trade, and you'll see a little download button. It's free. There's like a white icon for it, and then you just download it. And then you download it, I'll actually do it for you right here. One-click trade, search. I don't know why, but marketplace on MT4 is always laggy. But I'll keep going, and it might just take a little time. But we want to just go to the market, type in the little search bar over here. Yeah, see, it just froze that MT4. It's really weird. It does that all the time for me. I don't know why. But you just go into the MT4, you go to the marketplace, you click on the search bar, you type in one-click trade. You see it at the bottom. It's like a little white square icon. It'll say one-click trade at the bottom. And then once you click download, on the left-hand side under Market Expert Advisors here, or excuse me, under Expert Advisors, you'll see Market because it was downloaded from the market. You'll see this right here, one-click trade. And all you do is you just drag this right on your chart. I have it on there, so it's saying yes or no. Right, you just drag it right on your chart there, and then you just click this right here. And then I'll show you guys how to use this really quickly. So first thing you want to click that box all the way to the right. And this is just defining your risk. It's automatically prompted to 2%. So you can see here, risk percentage 2%. So you can type in 1 if you want, or whatever your risk is that you typically use. I recommend 1 or 2%. We'll just keep it at 2%. Click save, then go back to this pencil here, right? And where you see this green bar here, where it says market order, that if you click buy or sell here after you figure out the parameters here, that's how you would market execute. And if I click this, it'll open up sell stops, buy stops, sell limits, or buy limits. So in this trade here, we're doing a sell limit. Okay, so right here, open price, that's our entry price. So we would type in 187726, and then stop loss in points right at the bottom here. So 50 pip stop loss, I'm going to type in 50, and you have to do it as if there's a 0.0. So if you type in 500, that's for 50. And then TP in points, which was what, 268, add the 0. And you can see here, for 50 pip stop loss, based on this account balance, the recommended lot size for this account is 7.3 standards, right? And I'll actually place this one so you can see. Oops. And one side note, which I didn't have, so I just had to reload it. You have to have auto trading on. You have to have the auto trading on. All right, so let's go back here. All right, so I'm going to type in 187726, stop loss and pips 50. The target was 2680. Recommended lot size 7.3. I click on that and it's going to put it right in there. Now I just click sell them and look over here. Now you can see there's the entry at the same price, the stop loss 50 pips, and you can see there the target 268 pips. You can see the stop loss there 50 pips, and it's 2% of this account. So if I lose this trade, I'm losing 2%, which is just over 3,600. And if I hit this TP, we're looking at 10%, which would be $20,000. And that's it. It'll set this stop loss. It'll set the entry. It'll set the TP. It'll do everything for you. Now, if you want to just do it, let's say we were at that trade now, and we're going to buy gold right now. And we're going to use the same parameters, 50 pips, 268 target. I'm not going to actually get into this trade right now. But it's the same thing. All I would do is you go back on this green little button here between pending orders and market execute, market order. Now, if I click buy or sell, it'll get me right into that trade. It'll set the stop loss. It'll use the recommended lot size based on this account, and it'll set the TP as well. Does that make sense for everybody? And this is how you play the numbers. So, I mean, it's really important that you're just not, taking a trade that somebody posts and, entering whatever lot size, you got a $500 account, you're throwing a standard on it, 50 pips will wipe out your account. You're risking 100% on that trade. So let the numbers play out. And then that's how you're going to compound your account. And that's how you're really going to take advantage of the signals. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys got value from that. We just have so many new people, and we have so many people that, just don't know it. So we really wanted to start with this before we get into anything else, chart related or strategy related. In my opinion, this is, one of the most important things that you need to do for every single trade. This is something that I personally didn't do. I just wasn't taught. I didn't know better. And that's why I blew so many freaking accounts when I first started, because I had no idea that your stop loss was essentially your profit regulator. I had no idea if somebody sent a 50 pip stop loss trade and a 100 pip stop loss trade, I'd be using the same lot size for both. I just didn't know. So a lot of people just don't know. So I thought that this would be something valuable to start with. So is this still using MT4? Yeah, this is MT4. I mean, MT4, I don't really even know many people that use MT5. MT4 has been kind of the go-to. I know some people use, there's different things for different brokers, but for the majority, I mean, MT4 is the way to go. A lot of the stuff, tools, exit managers that we have some things too that are probably going to be in the works as well that are going to be available to everybody that they're not bots or anything like that, but there's things that you can throw on a chart after it's running that will help you manage the trade automatically. Some of you are familiar with because of the other team. I also have stuff that I've had personally created. For example, you can throw something on this chart here, and it'll just manage the trade. I can set it to move my stop loss to break even after 20 pips. That way you just don't have to be, if there's an update or you just have it do everything automatically. So we're going to have stuff like that available as well. But that stuff doesn't run on MT5. How are we doing with time? Where are we at? Top of the hour. All right, so I don't know if I'd be able to share my screen on the phone, but it's pretty straightforward. It's the same thing. All you would have to do, for Stenu, I can pull it up really quickly so everybody. It's an app that has a white square with a purple circle and an S in the middle of it, and it's basically pretty straightforward. I don't know if you can see it like this, and you would just type in your account balance. This is probably too small for you to see. You would just type in your account balance, the risk, right? So you would do let's just base it off a $10,000 account, 2% risk, stop loss in pips. So if it was a 50 pip TP, you type in 50 pips, and then you go to the bottom and you select the pair. And then afterwards, that will tell you the lot size that you should use for that trade, for that currency, with those parameters that are sent out. And that way, no matter how big or small that stop loss is, you'll be losing 2%. If we are in this private group, is that the same as your private team, live videos or training? So we haven't released anything. I know what you're talking about, and they're referring to where I educate for another team. This is what we're moving over to. So we haven't released anything for this group yet, but it's in the works. This is the launch of it. This is the start of the education. We're going to be layering in a lot of different things, but again, we're a new. This is all new. We've been going for. I mean, Joe will probably correct me if I'm wrong. 7, 8 or so months, but a lot of that was building everything up. It took like 3 months to build the back end of everything. So we wanted to just not spread ourselves too thin, get everything organized in one area before we layer in anything else. So now we're going to start layering in the education. And even with that, we're going to probably do the same process, one thing at a time, get that thing all dialed in, then add the next thing. But just take my word on it. We have a lot coming, a ton of valuable stuff, especially for the dollar. The value will far, far exceed that. And all you who know who I am and been associated with things that we do in the past, that's an understatement.
Yeah, so, can you hear me, Danny?
Yep, you're good.
So yeah, like Danny is saying, this concept of EasyFXSignals was birthed in January. We didn't even launch it to our beta group of people that we were already talking to and inside of another mentorship community until March. And this didn't even go public to everybody else until May. So anything that we do, it's going to be calculated, tested, and we want to make sure that we're bringing the highest quality to you guys before we launch it. And to put it in perspective, everyone since day one has been asking for these types of videos. We do have an affiliate side of what we do, and we've got a group of guys in there in an interactive chat that have been asking for this, and I've been having to tell them they got to be patient. So anything that we do and we launch is going to be done with a lot of thought, and we want to make sure that it's obviously catering to what's going to bring the most value to you guys in the most efficient manner possible, and want to respect Danny's time too and our pro traders. Because, the first thing that's going to happen today is, I've already got people asking me, what's Danny's social media? What's Danny's social media? And we want this to be done in a way that you guys are getting the most out of the trading, the most out of the education, but that we're respecting Danny and the traders as well, to know that all the volume and all the value is going to be given in the forums that we create for you guys in a way that you can consume it and then pull the communication and reconsume it via recordings and otherwise. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that was a good point. And that was one of the big reasons why we wanted to brand this. It wasn't that we were trying to be, sketchy or anything like that. As most of you know, I can see all the names in the chat. The other group that I was educating in had thousands of people. So if I posted something or a chart, or if I posted a trade, within a matter of seconds, I had floods of messages just pouring in, and they would trickle in. Like I posted a GU chart, I think like 2 Fridays ago, and I'm still getting messages trickling in from that. And it's not that I have no problem answering them. As most of you know, if you message me, I respond. It just becomes extremely time consuming, and I can get easily distracted with it. Next thing you know, I'm going down a rabbit hole answering questions and talking to people for hours on end, and it just got extremely distracting. So that's why we were a little hesitant of even saying, who we are or showing our faces. But at the end of the day, we wanted to have that personal touch and be able to relate to you and you relate to us. And as most of you know, and I can see some of you asking if I'm leaving the other team, this was part of that process of me leaving on good terms in a respectful manner to everybody, without stepping on anybody's toes, a conflict of interest. So that's why, as you guys know, I used to do it 5 days a week, and it's slowly been, kind of, fading me out to, it was 4 days a week, then 3 days a week, and 2 days a week, and then 1 day, and then, ultimately I will this will be our primary focus moving forward. So I hope that makes sense. And it's just a lot to figure out. It's a big transition, something that I've been part of for 4 something years, educating there and helping people trade, and we've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of people. But there were just some areas that at the end of the day we had no control over, and that's why we wanted to start this and have that control and do what we want with the team that we put in place. Without all that other stuff that you see in a lot of these other Forex companies all over the internet, where, there's the primary focus is ML, or, just marketing, and it's a bunch of these people flashing stuff, looking like the part, but they're not doing what they're saying. They're making their money on other things. So that was something that we wanted to kind of put a space between. I hope that makes sense. But there's just a lot of things that we wanted to do, and we have a lot of great ideas that we're going to apply. And ultimately, the mission has always been to help people, and we have a lot of good things in the works, and we're excited about it, and I think you guys are really going to love it and find a lot of value from it. So that's that. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions about that stuff, but yeah. We won't go crazy on the questions. The primary focus and what the attention is going to be to is the charts. I mean, again, this is the first one that we're doing. We wanted to just drop some value today, do something like I went over today, and then next week, as we layer in more things and as we get more into these calls, our own calls, every single week, we're going to get more into the actual strategy, breaking down the charts, marking them up. A lot of you guys are familiar with what I was doing anyway. It's going to be a lot like that. So a lot of you guys are familiar with that, and kind of deep dive into, those calls. And then that's another thing. I mean, you guys know those calls too, like I had no real control over. It was all based on set parameters by somebody else. So we have full free reign to do what we want, when we want, how we want to do it, which I think will be more valuable for a lot more people as well. So what are we at? The 1/4 So we could probably get into the questions now.
Yep.
I think this was a pretty good test run today. just to crack that door open and get this started. If you guys got value today, if you guys like these calls, let us know. Drop a 2 in the chat, and then we can start getting into some questions, and we'll wrap it up on that. Good turnout today, though. I'm happy with the turnout.
Yeah, and really quick, if we get to time and we don't answer your questions live, these are being posted as comments in Facebook, so we'll go back and make sure that all your questions are answered on this. So don't feel like you know, if we don't get it live here, we won't get to you. We'll definitely answer all the comments. So we'll just kind of leave it open. So let us know if you have any questions about the, you know, about EasyFXSignals, about really anything. It's your call.
A lot of 2s rolling in.
Dope.
Yeah, we plan on catching some pips, and we had a good start, especially with the elections and NFP and all the GBP stuff going on last week. To smash, we had a good, what we do, like 10% last week. We were happy with that, and that's what ultimately what we want to do with everybody. I mean, we want to get at least in that ballpark between 10, 15, 20 on a good week, every single week consistently, and be able to do at least like 30, 40% on the low end on a monthly basis. So yep. I feel like that was a good start for the month.
And Nate's asking if it's still 50 a month. Yeah, right now it's 50 a month. And obviously we have multi-month packages all the way up to a year for less than $1 a day. That pricing is going up. We want to make sure we have the right people in here that appreciate what we're doing. And so we're going up to $99 a month. So if you aren't in yet and you're seeing this, you got about a week left to jump in at the legacy price of $49 a month. And the ultimate goal is for us to have lifetime members in here. You know, we want to see all of you guys have a transformation from, you know, like myself, when I started working with Danny, not even $1,000 in my account, to now next year I have 6 figures in a personal account as my vision. So, and I know that's possible. So we want to take that monthly bill out of your perspective and really want to shift it to becoming a lifetime member here, which for us is about $360 for the year. So hope that answers your question.
And just to be clear too, for people who are already members, and correct me if I'm wrong, you will be grandfathered in at that price. Your price will stay the same, and it will never go up.
That's right. So, we'll never raise prices for people that are already with us. If you quit and come back, you'll have to come in at the higher price.
Cool. So we got some questions rolling in. Do you risk 2% on every trade? Yes. Until we tell everybody in the group, especially, that we're doing 2% on every trade unless stated otherwise. So there might be certain circumstances that would change the risk. It's rarely more than 2%. I don't think we've ever instructed anybody to do more than 2%. You know, for example, let's say we just crushed it. We did 10%. We're coming into Friday, like last week, and we had NFP. There was just a lot of craziness going on. And we said, if we send something out, this would be a time to drop your risk down to 1%. That way people think trading is just learning a strategy, hitting the charts, marking things up, and then executing it. There's so much strategy that goes involved in it. And it's not just managing the trades. Most importantly, it's a strategy to manage your capital. So if we sent out a trade come Friday on a very manipulated day with a big news event, there's no reason to press it and risk 2% on a day like that and give back profit, where we can just drop it down 1%. And if we lose the trade, we're still at 9% for the week. So it's about managing your capital. But for the most part, it's 2% across the board.
Cool.
Appreciate that, Jason. Appreciate it. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start doing this and show our faces as well, just so we can connect with you and you can connect with us and know that there's real people behind here and actual traders. And we want to be as transparent with you guys as possible. So I don't know if you see any other questions.
Yeah, Chris was up a little higher. He asked if the Discord and the private community are in the works. Like I said, Chris, you know, when we launched that one's a lot more intense because you have people sending through their own chart markups, and we want to make sure that we're able to give the attention necessary. So it is in the works. If I had to guess, that's going to be like Q1 of 2021, because that'll give us the time to now make this the best that it can be through the rest of the year, along with the signals. So we'll be layering out, these initiatives, if you will, maybe like by the quarter, so that we can plan them out, test them, and make sure that everyone's getting the most out of them.
Yep. And yes, you can, Andy. So he was asking if you can upgrade from the monthly to the yearly. So we have a very high-end payment processor that we had to go kind of jump through hoops to get. You have to be a legitimate company. They kind of run the background check. So what happens is when you upgrade it, it's automatically, all the numbers are factored in, right, Joe? Just correct me if I'm wrong. So like if you're, you have X amount paid, or you're coming into a cycle and you upgrade it, I think the numbers will automatically
Prorate,
right?
Yeah, and if you need the link on how to update your account, just shoot us an email, and I'll get that to you. You can upgrade your account, change your payment details at any time.
That's a good question, Ellis. He was asking if they change from the monthly to the yearly, will stay on the existing price. So any price that you get into now before we up the price, that's your price. You'll be grandfathered into that, and it will never go up. And guys, the only reason why we're upping the price is, and you know, compared to a lot of the stuff and a lot of the things that you guys are part of that I'm associated with now, the yearly that we are doing is 2 months with that. So the value that we're going to be dropping, that was a big part of it. Our vision for this is to be the high-end service, the high-end education, the Lamborghini of this business. We're not trying to be just another company who's just trying to send out signals, get customers, and be on that low-end scale. So the price does, at the end of the day, have to match the value and the time that's coming into this.
Yep, and Eddie, it'll be within the week. So I would imagine by the next live session, prices will be up. So that'll allow everybody that's on trial or joining via trial this week to be good to go. And Sunday into Monday, we're probably going to make that change. We've already got the developers working on the website. So it's just a matter of finalizing everything and making sure the payment processor works. So it'll be within 7 days. And I'm getting questions about the private chats and stuff. Like we kind of alluded to it earlier, we're not really pushing this side of the business, but it is there. We've got an affiliate side of what we do. We call it promoters. You guys get access to a promoter dashboard. The information is in the description of this video. But we have a private actual Telegram group where it's interactive and we can chat back and forth. We've got about 30 people in there right now, and it grows every day. But for those that are still on right now, if you guys could speak to your experience so far in the affiliate chat, that might help other people kind of take that leap. It's free. There's no obligation to promote or to want to earn those commissions, but it will give you that next level of access to chat with us. And it's not like a view only like our Signals channel. So I saw Jack and Chris and Maher. There's a few of our guys that were on here earlier. Maybe they can drop an endorsement about that chat.
For some reason on my end, I can't scroll. Like if the chat goes too high, I can't see. I saw some questions. So
I'm on my phone. I just answered Eddie. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate you. Jono, you answered that. I answered Dale. Gerard was asked, did you answer about the Oanda? He said they deal in units. What's the best way to measure that?
You're talking about how they...
I'm assuming pips.
Yeah, so you're just talking about a U.S. broker. So let me see. My FX book... no, excuse me. Yeah, is it FX? Which one is it? My FX. This is also an app as well. Let me just type in this. So, I mean, it's pretty much all the same. Like, we're going to send out exactly what you need in terms of parameters. In some of the position size calculators, even like the one-click trade one that I showed, you can select different things. You can do it by price. You can do it by units. The one I'm showing you here is the same thing, but I don't think that's going to be too much any different. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pips. All price movement is measured in pips. So as long as you have your account balance, you know what your risk is. You're basically just dividing that by how much your stop loss is. So here's kind of like an example. This is also the app. This is the app that's like Steenu as well. So you can see here contract size. Like I usually just leave that as it is. You know, for example, like if you got a $10,000 account, you know, 2%, you got a 20 pip stop loss, Euro USD. You can see it's pretty straightforward math. That 200 is the 2% risk. That's 2% of 10,000. And you can see your lot size would be 1.0, which is $10 a lot. Meaning if you hit that stop loss for 20 pips, you're losing. The 200 is always the same. So let me show you what I mean. So like, let's say I change the stop loss to, you know, 48 pips. I calculate. You can see that 2% risk stays the same. It's 200, but the lot size is cut in half. So now your lot size would be 0.41, which is $4.17 per pip. That's your value. So if you get wiped out of that trade for, you know, negative 48 pips, you're still losing that 200. The only difference is how much you stand to gain. So if your TP was the same and your stop loss was the same for these, or excuse me, your stop loss was bigger and the TP was the same, you would make half as much on this trade. So the same thing if you have like a 11 pip stop loss and you calculate, now you can see that lot size goes up to $18 per pip, but it's still staying at $200 per trade, right? So that's how you can compound your account. So it shouldn't really matter what your broker is. That you're trading in lots, and it's all measured by pips, so it shouldn't really matter. And I personally don't recommend. I mean, everybody can do their own, and we don't want to push brokers on people. You can use any broker for our service, but there's a lot of the reason why you're not going to see too many people use U.S. regulated brokers. There's just a lot of rules and regulations in place which make it hard to trade. And I know they all vary, but some of them have like a 1-in-1 deal where like if you have a trade that's losing and you want to open up a new trade, you have to close that other trade first, regardless if it's a profit or not, in order to open up that other trade. So there's just a lot of stuff, and then there's stuff with the leverage. They don't offer much leverage, so you know that's a whole other can of worms for another time. But I hope that was helpful.
And I saw a bunch of people were asking about upgrading their subscriptions and stuff. So I went ahead and pinned the link. If you're an active member, it's going to just basically prompt you to use the email that you used to sign up. If you're not an active member, it's not going to work. But that link is where you change your billing and upgrade your membership. If you have any issues, it'll have our support email on there. You can email us anytime.
And Pro said if you lose 10% in a $10,000 account, well, that would be 1,000. So if you lost 10% on well, I mean, you don't want to put 10% on a single trade, because that means if you have a $10,000 account and you're doing 10% per trade, you can wipe out your entire account with 10 trades, or probably less than that. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing in trading, is preserving and protecting your capital, because that's what keeps the motor running. That's the fuel for the motor, because without any capital, you're not going to make money. So you really need to have that respect for it, and just always use that. That's the discipline. That's the discipline that was the thing that changed my trading, is really focusing on preserving, protecting, and compounding my capital. And the only way to do that is using proper risk management. And I know it sucks on smaller accounts, but I wouldn't even come into trading, trying to blow up these smaller accounts, because I did that. You have a $500, you have a $1,000 account. You're trying to make money. You need money now. You got bills to pay, and you try to over leverage your account. And again, like I said earlier, these outcomes, doesn't matter how perfect that setup is, it's at complete random. I mean, and a lot of you guys know that if you watch any Mark Douglas mindset stuff, it's at complete random. So if you over leverage that trade, especially if you're on like a hot streak and you got 4 winners under your belt, and the next trade you're like, all right, I'm going to pump it up a little bit. That could be the one that bites you, and then you start going down that spiral, and you start over trading, you start revenge trading, and you just open up a can of worms. You want it so there's no emotion attached, and that's using 1 or 2%. Like, especially when you get into these bigger accounts, I mean, 2%, you're looking at big numbers, and it's just how you're going to compound these accounts. So, but every time you enter it in to answer your question, it would be that new account balance. So let's say for whatever reason you did have that 10K account and you lost 10% and you're down to 9,000. That's what you would do for the next time. You do 9,000 and watch. You can see here that 200 per trade is going to get dropped down to 180 per trade. Now the 180 would be that 2% based on that account, and the lot size would still be based on that 2% on that 180 based on that 9K. We don't have a Discord for the affiliates. It's a separate private Telegram chat which you can get added into.
I'll give me 1 sec. I'll drop the link. I'm the link man today.
He said 2%. Next trade do you take? Yeah, that's exactly it. So it would just be 2% at the 180. It's just whatever that account balance is. That's why I like to use the one-click trade, because I don't have to enter the account balance. It's automatically doing it. I just type in how big or small the stop loss is, and it automatically calculates everything. So that way, no matter what, no matter how big or small the account is, it's always at 2%. Because I mean, if you have a $10,000 account and you're basing it off of 2%, and you lose 2 trades, right, and you go down to 96, 96, right, you can see that, I mean, it won't change too much for that trade, but if you're risking $200, right, you're over leveraging your account essentially, right? So if you lose on that trade, you'd be losing more than 2%. So it can just open up a can of worms. So it's just really good to practice that and stay consistent with it. You know, and the numbers, trading is simply a numbers game. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about any of the people that I know that trade successfully. All they are is disciplined, and no matter what, they're not over leveraging their account. That's it. And they just play the numbers. They know it's solely a numbers game, and that's all they play. That's all they focus on. It's like the blackjack guys. You know, like the 21. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The 21. They're not going in and trying to win every single hand. They're playing the numbers, and it's all based on their bet size, and you know, we won't get too into it, but I don't get the login on main website. You want to take that one, Joe?
Yeah. Let me know if you can see the pinned message where I put the ChargeBee portal link on there, and that'll get you right into your dashboard. You can see what you signed up for, and if you have any issues, just email us, and I'll look into it for you. I don't want to put your information out here for everybody.
And somebody said that I missed broker suggestions. So we have brokers that we can recommend. If you're in our private community, we recommend it. I mean, again, you can use any broker that you want. We don't push brokers on people. But if you want to be aligned with us, and there's been situations where somebody might have got stopped out of a trade, and somebody got, you know, there's other people that might have missed entries, and that's because they were using different brokers and had different spreads. So if you want to be completely aligned with us, the main brokers that we use, I'll pull them up. I use Osprey, which is this here. And then the other one that I use, which you probably wouldn't be able to, and I'll explain why in a minute, is Pepperstone, which is an Australian-based broker, but that's a regulated broker, and that accounts are connected to 7 figures. So we have the person associated with this account, they have citizenship there. So we were able to have a regulated broker, which we wanted to have for 7-figure accounts. But as you can see here, I mean, if you look at this Osprey account, we're perfectly comfortable having, and this is just one of them. We have multiple accounts. This is just one of the accounts, and you can see, I mean, this is 180K, over 180K, and you can see at the top it's a live account. So if that doesn't say that we trust this broker, then I don't know what does. So they're a good broker.
I dropped the link in Gerard's message, so he has the specific one.
The main reason why we like Osprey, I mean, and Osprey's cool for a number of reasons. You know, they have, so they're, I'm sure if you're familiar with Hugo's Way, the owner of Hugo's Way is the same owner as this. So this is their new broker that they're transitioning into. And the main difference between those two is for Osprey, they own the servers, and for Hugo's Way, they rent them. And what happens with that is when they own them, they can get you better spreads and lower commissions. So for Osprey, for a lot of these pairs, we get really, really, I mean, we're on pro accounts. So a lot of cases we get raw spread, but even with
Hey guys, not sure what happened there. Let me know if you can still hear me. This is Joe. I think we lost Danny for a second. You gotta love it. We're both in different areas, but the same state, so that helps. If I can't get him back on here in a minute, we'll call it and just drop any questions that you have. Here he's back.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not sure what happened there.
No, you're good. Can you you can hear me?
Yep.
All right, one sec. Let me fix this. That was awesome. All right, cool. He's back.
Yeah, IC Markets is a good one too. That's one that I would feel comfortable recommending to people. You can use Osprey in the UK, as some people ask, but I know people that use IC Markets, that they're a solid broker that I do recommend. I haven't personally used them because I'm based in the States, and from a lot of people that I know in the UK who use them, they had a lot of good things to say about it.
Cool. We're a little past an hour, and I think we covered a lot today. So, like I said, if you guys, you know, if you're catching the replay, you know, let us know if you have any questions. If you're not already a member, and if you are a member catching the replay, you know, if anything was kind of, you know, a lot, just email us if you have any specific questions, or drop them right in this chat. And we always see all the comments, and we'll answer all the comments typically within 24 hours. So. Just let us know. Arb, that's a great question. We've definitely discussed having a Facebook group, but again, it goes back to the wanting to make sure that it's going to be the highest value and not just something else to manage, and it's not really helping you guys grow your accounts. At the end of the day, we want you guys making money, whether it's to supplement your income or to completely replace your income and do this full time. That's the goal here. And so we don't want to have a lot of noise. We want everything to be calculated and the highest value, but it's definitely something we've been talking about.
Sounds good, man. Well, I mean, I think that was a good first run. I hope you guys enjoyed it, got value out of these. And if you're all good on your end, man, I'm good on my end. I think we answered a decent amount of questions as well.
I agree.
And,
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you, and we'll be around if you have anything or you need anything.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.